Virginia Senate Bill 844, which came over in what's called crossover, where the Senate and the House exchange bills, would take the sex offender registry to a new low. This is how it works. Basically, if you are, and I'll post it down below here, if you are convicted of certain enumerated offenses, you will have to register on tier one, which was a new addition, every 6 months, tier two every 6 months, and tier three every month. Now, this is a change from several weeks ago where I was reporting on it. But what's interesting about this is somehow this wasn't anywhere on the docket yesterday morning, but it somehow miraculously appeared sometime during the day because it was there this morning. A number of us mobilized and we contacted all the relevant people, including the Speaker's office, to try to get this bill stopped. For those of you who are thinking, well, it doesn't really affect me, the fact of the matter is, if they start expanding this is an expansion of the registry. What will happen, I fear, and what has happened often in the past, is that people then will rally behind even further changes. And these changes are onerous, they're difficult, and they do absolutely nothing for public safety. Number one, forcing people to register more frequently is already a burdensome issue on the state police. Number two, I mean, they can't keep up with it. Now, compliance officers are nowhere to be found. They can't keep them around. And it takes years for them to seem to go through background checks before they can hire somebody. They brought people out of retirement. They have deputized, if you will, uh, state troopers that they want to be out on the road to come in instead and man the registry requirements. It will result in confusion and people thinking that people don't pay attention much to the law, that they will have to register more often for things that they shouldn't, or that they will not register thinking that they did their registry already and then they'll be subject to arrest. So arrests, I promise you, will go up. Another thing that will happen is people who have and members of the public who have asked to be notified if a so-called offender is in their area, or if they go on these websites, it may register again, indicating that there's a person who has registered and hit their phone, and that will cause fear and anxiety. And among the nastiest among the trolls, they will be calling your employer, they will be trying to get you fired, they will be complaining to your HOA, all the things that they do now. Just yesterday, I was threatened from Anchorage, Alaska, for goodness sake, okay? From somebody in the military there. So the threats are ongoing. They will keep nobody safe, and it will open the door to further expansion of the registry. What I urge everybody to do if you're in Virginia is follow the links I put down there, register your thoughts, call your representative, or just put thoughts down here for the committee to consider. They will be meeting at 7:30 tomorrow, or call your representative and urge them not to vote for this in the House. If it passes the House, it's already passed the Senate, it goes on to the governor, and he most assuredly will sign it. Certain people have never met a law that involved punishment that they couldn't get behind. And as Delegate Marcus Simon, I think, said, who sits on the committee, and I hope he's hearing this, some time ago, said several years ago, the General Assembly has never found a problem that they couldn't solve with yet another felony. This is not good. It does nothing for anybody in particular. They've already looked to establish new misdemeanors and new felonies for various things, but this one looks like it might actually pass. So I urge you to follow the link below and try to put a stop to it. I'll also be posting again some of the research that demonstrates that the registry doesn't work. For anybody who thinks that the registry does, I want to see your evidence that it actually works. I want to hear from people who were saved by the registry. I want to hear from people who found that by keeping people who have already been adjudicated, whether they did it or not, that they somehow are a greater danger than the people who commit grand larceny, because there's no registry for that. And that's out of control in Northern Virginia here, according to crime stats. whereas murder and rape and sexual assault are actually down. So I want to see the evidence from the other side, because what it really does is it simply makes you afraid, more afraid, and it reinforces those feelings. And those feelings are not justified by the research. I get it, everybody's concerned. For those of you who claim that you're concerned for children, though, I want you to remember two particular things. Number one, last year the General Assembly passed a law which allowed people who are chronic drunks, who can't control their alcohol consumption, and who constantly get on the road while drunk, passed a law saying that they should get their driver's license back a little earlier because, after all, they have to make a living. Well, what do you want people who have been convicted of sex offenders to do? I get it. Some of you want them to die. Some of you want them never be able to see the light of day. But that's not how we do things. So, do you want them being productive members of the tax-paying public, or do you want something worse to happen? But make up your mind, because this is nibbling away at people's life and livelihood. The second thing that they've done is to allow a real predator, somebody who actually did hurt people, to get away with it through a restorative justice option. And when they were approached in the General Assembly and the Crime Commission, it's been crickets. Nobody has said a word about this. And you have to wonder, is this person somebody who is very special or what? Because it seems to me that if you hurt somebody, you should pay, versus somebody who didn't hurt anybody who is paying instead. And the third example is this year, fortunately, it died in committee, but they want to make people who are involved in sexual domestic violence situations, there should be a registry for them. They call it a database, but it's a registry. And that those people, though, won't be eligible to be on it the first time, like so-called sex offenders. Oh no, they second, third time is okay. And after 7 years, if they have no other convictions during that time, they should be able to get off of it. They can appeal to a court. Versus somebody like me, who was convicted of supposedly computer solicitation of a minor. No contact offense. It's not even true I did that, but I'm on for 15 years. And we have people on for even more than that, for doing even less than what I did. It's a monstrous betrayal of the public trust. Nothing for children, nothing at all for public safety, but it stokes fear and apprehension. And I hope you'll follow the links below, and please write, because tomorrow morning at 7:45, that's Friday morning, they're going to meet, and if it advances out of committee, it will most likely pass. So please do your part to help stop this bill. Thank you very much.